Beirut, Lebanon. Rebels in Yemen fired a ballistic missile on Tuesday at Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, for a second time in 2 months, though Saudi officials said that it had been intercepted and that there were no casualties. Around midday, a large boom startled many in Riyadh, including customers at a cafe in the center of the city, where several ran outside to see a puff of gray smoke in the sky and black smoke rising from the ground nearby, presumably from the launch site of the defense systems. The Saudis are at the forefront of a coalition that has been waging a bombing campaign in Yemen for 2.5 years against the rebels, known as the Houthis, that has contributed to a humanitarian crisis that United Nations officials consider among the worst in the world. Saudi Arabia has accused Iran of backing the Houthis with weapons and expertise, concerns shared by the United States government, and the Saudis said on Tuesday that they had been targeted by an Iranian Houthi missile. A spokesman for the Saudi-led military coalition said the missile had been aimed at residential areas and had been intercepted without any casualties, according to the state-run Saudi press agency. The spokesman, Turki al-Maliki, called the possession of such weapons by militant groups like the Houthis a threat to regional and international security. The Houthis acknowledged firing the missile but said the target had been the palace of King Salman, the Saudi monarch, according to their television station, Al Masirah. The attack came hours before King Salman was to lead a ceremony to announce the kingdom's 2018 budget, and the timing suggested that the Houthis were attempting to spread fear in the capital and draw attention away from the Saudi leadership's plans for governance and development. The war in Yemen began in 2014 when the Houthis allied with parts of the Yemeni armed forces and seized much of the country's northwest, including the capital, Sana'a, later forcing the government into exile. In 2015, Saudi Arabia and other Arab states began a bombing campaign aimed at pushing the Houthis back and restoring the internationally recognized Yemeni government. Throughout the war, the Houthis and their allies have targeted communities along the Yemen-Saudi border with missiles and other projectiles, but they appear to be expanding their range. The Houthis fired a missile at Riyadh's international airport on November. 4 Saudi officials said their missile defenses had brought it down, but an investigation by the New York Times found that the missile had hit near its target and that it was unclear whether the body of the projectile had been struck. Last week, Nikki Haley, the American ambassador to the United Nations, stood in front of what United States officials said were Iranian-made missiles, including the one that was fired at Riyadh's international airport in November. But Defense Department officials said they doubted that the remnants on display validated Ms. Haley's claims. The strike on Tuesday came amid an increase in violence in Yemen, after the death on December 4 of Ali Abdullah Saleh, a former president who had allied with the Houthis and brought allied military units with him.